The 7th of November, 1944. Yugoslavia, late morning. 12 American P-38 Lightnings slice through the cold air at altitude, twin booms steady, engines humming with the confidence of routine. This is supposed to be a standard patrol, fly in, hit German targets of opportunity, fly out. Nothing complicated, nothing memorable, just another mission in a war already overflowing with them. Then Colonel Clarence Edwinson sees it. A white plume of steam rising from a valley below, a locomotive moving north. In enemy territory, a moving train means one thing, Germans: supplies, troops, a clean kill. There is no pause, no radio debate, no second look at the map. Edwinson rolls inverted and dives. His squadron follows instantly. Training takes over. Muscle memory replaces doubt. The lightnings scream downward as airspeed surges. Crosshairs lock. Triggers are squeezed, rounds rip into the locomotive, steel buckles. Steam erupts violently from the boiler as the engine slows, wounded and exposed. The Americans pull up, already hunting for the next target. Then the sky answers. Black bursts of flak detonate around them. Shrapnel tears into thin, aluminum skin. One P-38 shudders, ignites and falls away in flames. Over the radio comes a voice, sharp with panic, breaking apart. I'm hit. I'm going down. There is no parachute, no miracle, just fire slamming into a hillside. In seconds, the mission stops being routine. It becomes personal. Anger replaces caution. The instinct is simple now. Strike back. Ahead, the valley opens wide. An airfield. A long convoy of vehicles rolling along the road. Edwinson does not hesitate. He does not question what he sees. In that moment, he is absolutely certain he knows who they are, and that certainty is about to unleash a mistake that cannot be taken back. The flak doesn't stop. It thickens. Black bursts bloom closer now, tearing through the formation as the lightnings drop low, skimming treetops to escape the guns. Metal shrieks, warning lights flash. Another P-38 staggers, smoke trailing from its engines. Edwinson's voice cuts through the radio, sharp and urgent: get low, get out, stay alive. But survival comes too late for one of them. A direct hit. Fire swallows the cockpit. The aircraft breaks apart mid-dive and disappears into the hillside in a violent orange flash. Silence follows. No shoot, no callback, just absence. The squadron keeps moving, but something has shifted. This is no longer a patrol. This is payback. Ahead, the terrain drops into a broad valley, revealing exactly what Edwinson expects to see: an airfield and a long column of vehicles pushing north. Tanks, trucks, orderly movement. To him, it looks textbook German. The briefing echoes in his mind. This is the target area. This is where the enemy retreats, resupplies, hides. There's no doubt left to challenge. The loss behind them hardens into resolve. Blue flight, hit the convoy. Red and yellow, take the airfield. A chorus of confirmations follows. Engines surge, guns are armed. No one down there knows what's coming. And no one in the air is thinking about flags, markings, or second chances. The first death has rewritten the mission. From here on, every decision is driven by momentum, anger, and the belief that the men below deserve what's about to happen. Below them, the convoy rolls forward in loose formation, engines rumbling, men riding high and exposed. To the pilots above, it fits perfectly into the story already forming in their heads. Retreating enemy forces. A vulnerable column. An opportunity that won't come twice. No one asks why the vehicles aren't dispersing. No one questions the lack of camouflage. War has trained them to interpret everything through a single filter. If it moves here, it's hostile. The lightnings break formation and angle in, sunlight flashing off metal as they line up for the run. Down on the road, the soldiers hear engines before they see them. They look up and spot the familiar twin-boom silhouette cutting across the sky. American aircraft. Allies. Smiles appear. Some wave. Red flags flutter in the wind as the column keeps moving, unaware that the shapes above are already committed. In the cockpit, Edwinson sees only a target growing larger in his gun sight. The loss of his men presses hard in his chest. This is where it gets settled. A few on the ground sense something is wrong. Shouts break out, flags are lifted higher, arms straining, bodies turning in panic. It doesn't matter. At this speed, Recognition takes seconds they don't have. Triggers are pulled. The first rounds tear into trucks and bodies alike. The air fills with dust, smoke, and screams as the illusion finally shatters too late to stop what has already begun. The road erupts in chaos. Trucks explode under strafing fire, metal shredding outward as men are thrown from the backs of vehicles. Bullets rake the column from end to end, cutting through uniforms, flesh, and fuel tanks with equal indifference. Some soldiers dive for ditches. Others freeze, trapped between disbelief and instinct. Red flags whip violently as arms wave them higher. Desperate, frantic, pleading to be seen. It doesn't matter. The Lightnings are already committed, diving at hundreds of miles per hour, sights locked, fingers tight on triggers. Bombs fall next, tumbling end over end before slamming into the road. The ground buckles. Fireballs roll across the convoy, swallowing vehicles whole. At the nearby airfield, the thunder reaches them seconds later, dull, heavy blasts echoing across the valley. Lookouts snap to attention and stare upward as shapes rush toward them. Alarms sound. Men sprint for anti-aircraft guns. Barrels elevate. Tracers streak into the sky, clawing at the attackers. From the air, it looks exactly like an enemy response. The guns are firing back. The assumption hardens. The Lightnings roar in again, cannons blazing, ripping across parked aircraft and runway edges. On the ground, the realization spreads in fragments. This isn't an attack you can signal away. This is momentum. This is misunderstanding, moving too fast to stop. And with every second it continues, more lives are erased by allies who still believe they are doing the right thing. Anti-aircraft fire thickens as the airfield fully wakes to the attack. Guns hammer upward in overlapping arcs, filling the sky with red tracers and black bursts. The Lightnings punch through it again, cannons roaring, rounds tearing across rows of parked aircraft and fuel drums. Explosions ripple across the tarmac. Smoke climbs fast, blotting out sections of the field. One P-38 pulls out of its dive too late. Hits slam into its wings and tail. Control vanishes in an instant. The aircraft skids low, drawing the full attention of every gun on the ground. She's not coming up. Seconds later, it disintegrates in a violent fireball just beyond the runway. Another American pilot is gone. From above, Edwinson watches the wreckage burn and feels the same surge of fury all over again. Whoever these men are, they are killing his squadron. The logic is simple. Build altitude, turn back, hit them again. Below, Soviet pilots sprint through smoke toward their fighters as the airfield commander's orders cut through the confusion. Engines cough, then roar to life. 2 Yak 9 seconds break free first, lifting off under fire and skimming low over the trees. Behind them, more aircraft struggle into the air in a tight group, slow and vulnerable. From the Lightning's perspective, it looks like enemy fighters trying to escape. The decision is immediate. Dive. Don't let them climb. Momentum has taken over completely now, feeding on loss, misinterpretation, and speed. No one on either side understands yet that the next minutes will mark the first time American and Soviet pilots try to kill each other in the sky. The sky fractures into chaos. American P-38 seconds dive through their own smoke trails as Soviet fighters claw for altitude beneath them. Tracers slice past canopies. Cannon fire snaps through open air. A Yak is hit and vanishes in flame before it can even turn. Others scatter, breaking formation in violent evasive climbs. One Soviet pilot sees an opening as a Lightning pulls out of its dive, nose high, slow for a split second. He yanks his fighter upward and fires. The burst lands clean. The P-38 shreds apart midair, spinning down in fire. The American pilot never gets out. Below, anti-aircraft crews fire at anything with wings, friend or foe lost in the blur. Edwinson looks down and counts burning wrecks on both sides. This is no longer a strike, it's a trap, closing from every direction. Defensive circle, he orders. We're shooting our way out. 2 Yak 9 seconds, low and fast, race back toward the fight. They've seen enough. Their comrades are dying on the ground and in the air. They pull into a vertical climb, engines screaming, committing to the impossible. For the first time in history, American and Soviet fighters meet head-on. Not as allies, but as targets. Each pilot convinced the other is the enemy that must be stopped, right now or never. The fight tightens. Aircraft crisscross at close range, so near that markings blur and shapes merge into instinctive targets. One Soviet pilot dives to cover his wingman as two P-38 seconds drop in behind him. Tracers flash past his canopy. He twists hard, barely escaping the burst. Another Lightning lines up, guns already spooling. Then something breaks through the noise, the shape, the stars, red insignia flashing unmistakably against grey metal. A Soviet pilot pulls alongside an American fighter and rocks his wings, desperate, reckless, ignoring every rule of survival. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then the American aircraft slows, slides in behind him, and opens fire. The Soviet pilot breaks away just in time, heart pounding, disbelief burning hotter than fear. Again he tries, cutting across the melee, forcing himself into the Americans' field of view. At last, Edwinson sees it. The red stars, the truth, hits like a physical blow. "Cease fire! Cease fire! They're Soviets!" His voice cracks through the radio. Orders repeat in panic. The Lightnings turn west and run, engines push to the limit. Behind them, Soviet fighters give chase, weapons hot, seconds from killing more allies before the impossible order spreads. Let them go. Allies, stop. The shooting falters. The sky falls silent, leaving only smoke, wreckage, and the weight of what just happened. The silence feels heavier than the gunfire. Burning wrecks dot the valley floor, American and Soviet aircraft alike, indistinguishable in their destruction. On the road, the convoy is shattered, vehicles overturned, bodies scattered where celebration had been moments earlier. At the airfield, smoke coils upward as crews pull survivors from wreckage, counting losses that should never have been theirs. Radios crackle with fragmented reports, numbers spoken quietly, as if volume might make the reality worse. Commanders on both sides scramble for answers, but there are none that fit the damage already done. Messages race up the chain, stripped of emotion, translated into language careful enough to prevent the unthinkable. For a moment, the fear isn't tactical, it's political. One mistake, misunderstood, could widen this disaster into something far larger than a valley in Yugoslavia. An explanation is drafted. An admission follows. The United States accepts responsibility, framing the chaos as a chain of errors, bad assumptions, and fogged judgment. The Soviets listen, skeptical, wounded, angry. Some accounts are recorded, others are softened, delayed, sealed. The official story settles into something survivable. The dead do not. For those who lived through it, the memory doesn't fade into paperwork. It lingers in the quiet after engines shut down, in the knowledge that victory never entered the sky that day, only loss, carried by allies who almost became enemies forever. What happened over Yugoslavia in 1944 wasn't driven by hatred or ideology. It was driven by speed, assumption, and certainty, unchecked by doubt. Trained professionals made rational decisions based on incomplete information, and those decisions killed the wrong people. That's the part that still matters. Because the danger wasn't the enemy, it was the system moving too fast to stop itself. In war, in politics, in technology, even in everyday life, momentum can turn small errors into irreversible damage before anyone realizes a line has been crossed. This story isn't about blaming pilots or nations. It's a warning about how easily humans surrender judgment when pressure, fear, and loss take over. History didn't change course that day, but it came closer than most people ever learn. If this story made you stop and think, share it. If it unsettled you, that's the point. Like the video, subscribe for more deep, human stories hidden inside history, and leave a comment because the conversations that matter most are the ones we have before the next mistake is already airborne.